I give you the next Moonman.
Smitty, what's a Moonman?
This ridiculous job I have where hey, honey, hold on. I've got to make a Moonman video. Keep the meatloaf warm. Yeah, here on the channel, we have what's called the Moonmen, okay?
The Moonmen, dropping loads in outer space.
And on this list so far, we have Bijan Robinson and Garrett Wilson. Now, in fact, let's show the Moonmen from last year.
The Moonmen, dropping loads in outer space.
This is a pretty good list. I mean, a lot of these guys landed from A.J. Brown to Hurts. Keep in mind, it's all about draft value and the ability to explode. We had a lot of injuries, Breece Hall and Javonte, but this Moonman list was fantastic given the cost of entry. Without further ado, here is your Moonman for 2023. His name is Chris Olave, and the Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Take a lap.
Chris Olave, why is he a Moonman? Let me tell you why. But first, the ceremony.
The Moonmen, dropping loads in outer space.
Look at him. Look at him. Chris Olave looks fantastic in this group, this trio. It's going to grow. The trio's going to grow. This is the beginning of the Moonman list as it grows into a larger number of players. So buckle up. But why Chris Olave? I'm going to tell you why. Chris Olave was leading the league in air yards when Winston was under center. And I know a lot of people are going to say, but Smitty,
they have no quarterback in New Orleans. What's going to change?
Part of the Moonmen list, part of what we do with sleepers and breakouts here on the channel is we try and get ahead of the curve. My job isn't to go to the end of the curve with you guys with me. I'm going ahead, and it's a lonely place, but sometimes you have to try and foresee things coming. In the case of two of these Moonmen,
The Moonmen, dropping loads in outer space.
Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave don't have quarterbacks as of this moment. Space Monsters, indeed. They don't have quarterbacks yet. So in the case of Olave and Garrett Wilson, we're predicting that the quarterback situation either gets solved or it improves. And if it doesn't, they're both elusive wide receivers that can survive maybe a cloudy situation for a little while. So in Dynasty
mode activated.
I'm still feeling very, very, very positive about Olave and also Garrett Wilson because both of these guys, G. Will and Olave, are going to survive, I think, any situation. Now, granted, if they have an elite quarterback in play, it's even better. Probably top 5 to 10 wide receivers, probably top 4 to 8 wide receivers. Both Olave and Garrett Wilson are capable. Changing of the guard. There's an opening.
Attention, we're accepting resumes for top 10 wide receivers as the changing of the guard happens.
If elite quarterbacks land in these situations. Example would be Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, those types of quarterbacks landing in either New York or in New Orleans. Lots of rumors about Peyton and Brady, New Orleans. There's all kinds of rumors everywhere. I'm not saying all those things will happen, but if one of those things happens for one of these guys, that wide receiver could become a top 5 to top 7 wide receiver in 2023 with an elite quarterback, which might happen for one, but maybe not both. If it does, both could be. So number 1 in air yardage, this man Chris Olave was with Winston under center. He's a field stretcher. And with Winston not under center, he had to kind of develop a different game. He's not the field stretcher anymore. And he's still surviving. He's still looking good. He's building up other skill sets. This guy's dynamic. He's stretching the field when Winston's out there. And when Winston's not under center, which has obviously been the recent part of the season, he's the across the middle guy. He's the sideline guy. This guy is developing his game based on the quarterback he's being handed. And while that's hampered a lot of his rookie year, it's also developed him in a weird way, in a way that's going to benefit him next year. Wouldn't shock me at all if Chris Olave caught 80 plus receptions for 12 or 1,300 yards and 10 to 14 touchdowns total in 2023. Rushing a couple touchdowns in, potentially being used as a mini Deebo Samuel. He's not going to be run up the A gap or the B gap or anything close to being run up the gut. He's going to be one of those guys that gets you that electric end around jet sweep, occasional 2 or 3 touchdowns in a season on the ground. Olave's got it all. He is a playmaker, and this offense has a lot to offer. It just has to be retooled. There's a lot of negatives going on in New Orleans that need to be worked out. But all in all, it's a great place for a wide receiver as soon as the quarterback situation is figured out, which I believe is going to be objective number 1 walking into 2023. Air yardage king, playmaker, nose for the end zone. This guy has it all. He is a top 5 to 10 wide receiver in the making. Buckle up now. Get him.
Dynasty mode activated.
In your Dynasty League, and do it now. And the good news is he didn't exactly explode. He did well in Week 18. He had 60 yards and a touchdown. I believe it was 5 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. That might put him a little more on the front of people's minds closing out the year with a good game. But he's going to have 10 plus TDs in 2023. He's going to have the 80 plus receptions. He's going to have the big yardage. And again, I can't emphasize enough that if he doesn't get an elite quarterback, he's still capable of extremely outperforming his ADP and warranting the Moonman tag. He doesn't need the quarterback. He'll still be explosive. He'll still be electric. The quarterback is what's going to make him absolutely the difference between the top Moonman or a very good Moonman we're very proud of. That's what the quarterback does. It doesn't hinge on the quarterback for him to be amazing. The quarterback only amplifies the Moonman prediction. He is an absolute monster, and I can't wait for people to undervalue our number 3 Moonman.
The Moonmen, dropping loads in outer space.
Olave. Chris Olave. Look at the man. Look at him.
Space monsters.
Space monster indeed. I appreciate you all joining me for this Moonman edition of the Fantasy Football Show. Subscribe if you're new, hit that thumb up button, and get on over to the fantasyfootballshow.com. All my bold predictions, trade calculators, rankings for 2023 are up and going. No, I'm not some kind of, everything will be up in August or July or June. I'm a 365, 24/7 operation at the fantasyfootballshow.com. There's no, we're getting ready for 2023. It's year round. The moment the ball dropped on New Year's Eve, I flipped the switch to 2023, and that's what we're doing. And get on over to Underdog Fantasy using the link in the description. Promo code Smitty will get you up to $100 bonus match, dollar for dollar. You deposit $50 in your first deposit, they'll give you 50. If you deposit 100, they'll give you 100. And you can play these gauntlet and mitten drafts where you draft your entire playoff team, trying to predict what players are going to last the longest. You don't redraft. It's your team. You keep them through the whole playoffs. It's phenomenal. It's so fun. The prizes are crazy. Go do mitten and gauntlet drafts using promo code Smitty. The link again is in the description. I'll see you on the next video. Now get out of here.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.